Happy Friday, everyone. We made it to another weekend here on August 26, 2022, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you live from the Airport Grille in New Bedford. Pat's pregame preview for the Patriots at Las Vegas Raiders starting at 8:15 tonight. It's a local game, not NFL Network. I have Sara with me in Arizona. How you doing today, Sara?
I'm good. It's hot again, though, so I'm bummed about that.
Oh, it's hot in Arizona. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that
Shocking.
news. That's good to hear. Mm-hmm. And Galen's on location. He'll give a wave because he's muted.
How's it going?
So we'll get started. Third preseason game. They reduced it down last year from 4 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the last one. Going to get some of the starters to begin with. And it's going to be a lot of end of the roster. And this is where you're going to want to watch where guys at the end of the roster, what they're doing on special teams and maybe some specialty things that they do that they can bring to the team. So we answered the first question. Who is playing, Sara? Everybody. So what do you think of that?
I like it. I would want to see the starters play a little bit, especially against a team like the Raiders, but I definitely don't want them in for very long. So I'm happy to see that that's what's happening. We've seen, again, another preseason with way too many injuries. So if they can get in there for a drive or two, I'm good with that. And then just take them out because I don't want to risk anybody. They've already had a few guys go to IR and guys that they've cut that were injured. So if they can avoid that as much as possible, I'm all in on that.
They can lose 73-0.
Mm-hmm.
Drive down to the 1 yard line every series, get stuffed at the 1 4 straight plays. We'll work on goal line as long as nobody gets hurt tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I care about. That is the most important part.
Yep.
And we look at this roster, and roster locks. As you look at this, I have 46 locks myself.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you say you're standing right now?
Oh my goodness. I need to do a roster because I couldn't tell you that a number, but I'm sure I have probably close to the same amount as you. Because I didn't even know. I just learned today from you that they have that section on the Pats fans website that you can actually like put together the roster. So I'm like, now that's going to be something I'm probably going to be obsessed with for the next few days.
All right. We just got asked, what's everyone's thoughts on the Bills punters news? So I knew we were going to get a hit with this.
Mm-hmm.
Sara, do you feel comfortable talking about this? I'm going to ask that first as a general.
I feel like I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but I'm just glad that, they just said that he will not be punting tonight. Other than the fact that they're a division rival, the Bills are a team I will never, ever, ever think kindly of ever again because of how much knowledge they had of this entire situation. So,
all right.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to handle that. Another lost soul. I'm sorry, but I am not doing that to her. I have too much respect for Sara.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Galen he's definitely out tonight, right? I'll let Galen go. Galen's going to be breaking in with the news.
Yeah, he's a no-go for tonight's game. It's just I kind of agree with Sara. I mean, I feel like he should have been made inactive, effective immediately as soon as this came down the pipe and broke. But for whatever reason, they waited what seems to be like the 11th hour,
Mm-hmm.
In a way, kind of feel like he actually had a shot to play, which is kind of blasphemy. But they at the end of the day made the right call, and preseason, regular season doesn't matter. Sit on the sidelines, and we'll deal with you at another time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's as much as we'll get into the Ariza situation with our division rivals. I listened all day and just kind of shook my head most of the day at the radio. So, Sara, how about this? I'll go through my roster locks, and you either say yay or nay.
Okay, sounds good.
And if you say nay, I'll give you the reason why I had them as a roster lock.
Okay.
All right. So Mac Jones, Brian Hoyer, Bailey Zappi, all locks.
Yeah, I agree. I know a lot of people aren't sure about Hoyer, but I feel like you kind of need him there. I don't know. I would feel too comfortable going in with only Mac and then a rookie.
All right. Running back situation: Harris, Stevenson, Montgomery, Pierre Strong.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, as far as the bubble goes, too, are we gonna? I was gonna say, I feel like in that aspect, I'm seeing a lot of Kevin Harris and JJ Taylor getting cut, but I guess it depends on which direction they're going in because they've been using JJ Taylor a lot in the preseason so far. So I don't know that he'll go too far. They seem to keep him around even if he's only on the practice squad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm out on JJ Taylor.
Yeah.
It was a nice story at the beginning, but he's a 5'7" running back who isn't a third down back and tries to be a power back. And not that he can't run with power, he can run much better than myself. But I just feel like he's kind of miscast in the NFL what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, wide receivers. This is interesting. We include Matt Slater in that group. He's a specialist, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've flipped on Jacoby Myers. He is their number one. He will not be dealt, even though he has one of the most tradable contracts on this team. So I got Myers, Parker, Aguilar, Little Jordan Humphrey, Kendrick Bourne with Slater. So 6.
I think that's good. I don't think I would disagree. I like Christian Wilkerson, but he's again like another guy that I would say bringing in the next thing that we want to talk about. He's probably more of a bubble guy right now, and that just depends on how many receivers they want to carry forward, but how long he's going to be out. Might be another practice squad guy, especially with Thornton's injury kind of leaving them hanging about how long he'll be out. So yeah, no, I think I agree with your 6.
So this is like Wednesday after they play the game with Thornton where he's on the first 53 and then IR'd so they can pull him off week 6.
Yeah.
Tight ends, I only have 2. Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith is locks.
Yeah, I don't see that changing. We know that if they are, well, we believe that Humphrey will make the team. So if they ever needed to, they could transition him over there. And if anything were to happen with Smith or Henry, so there's no real reason to carry Asiasi or Sokol. So I agree.
Yeah, a lot of elements of Little Jordan Humphrey's game that I really like. Offensive line, David Andrews at center. I have nobody as a backup that I feel is right. I think that job still open the second center job.
So you don't like Cody Russie?
He's one of those guys. I have 7 open spots. He's one of the guys I have making it in my 53, but I think Ferentz is going to get a shot for the main reason that he's Kurt Ferentz's kid, and that's Bill Belichick's friend and coach with him. He'll get a chance. He'll get the veteran chance. They will give him his best opportunity.
Yeah, he'll definitely have to be better this week because he had some pretty bad moments last week, but yeah, we'll have to see. He's definitely one that you'll want to pay attention to in the game tonight and see how he performs.
All right, at guard, Cole Strange, Owenu, and Arlington Hambright. How's that for you? I think he's earned a lock spot on here as a guy who can play either guard.
Yeah, no, I like it. And a lot of people have been talking about Hambright being one of the main under the radar guys that people aren't really talking about. And I feel like it's just because it's like, one of those positions that people don't really talk about in general. And so I think that kind of forced him to not really be talked about, but he's had a good camp. I mean, I've seen his name several times. So I like it. And he's in good company. I mean, Cole Strange has looked great. So I think that's good. I can't disagree.
And last part of the offense, the tackles. I have Yandi Kajust and Trent Brown as the starters with Justin Herron as the backup. Yep. What's missing there?
Who would I put there?
No, I don't have Isaiah Wynn on this team.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
him traded.
Yeah, and I know that conversation kind of picked up again today. Even Doug Kyde was talking about it, but it is a tricky situation for the Patriots because obviously they would save a lot of money if they were to trade him, but they don't have a lot of depth on the line. So it's kind of like, what are they willing to risk? Are they wanting to take the money, or are they, and take the risk of not having a backup guy or a rotational piece, or are they going to just stick with it even if he's not performing up to their standard? Because we haven't seen a lot of good stuff from him in camp so far, and he's kind of in and out with injury again.
So Yasir Durant, I think, is one of the interesting guys because I think he can play 4 spots on the line and be one of those guys competing for the last 7. There'll be 2 more linemen because I believe the rule still is you have to carry 8 on game day, have 8 active, so you probably need 9 overall. You're listening to Ear to the Ground Sports live from the Airport Grille, Patriot pregame preview. Galen, Sara, myself at the Airport Grille. Sara, not really.
I'm there
Her
in
fries
spirit.
are still on the way. Her fries are still on the way.
I'm there in spirit, just long distance,
So if you have any comments, throw them in. If you don't agree with something on the roster projection or there's a player you want to talk about, throw it right in the comments section. Galen's monitoring, and we'll go from there. Defensive line. I'm going to throw another one at you. Dietrich Wise, Barmore, Godshaw, and you ready? LeBrian Ray, Sam Roberts.
I like it. I have a soft spot for Sam Roberts because of him being a Patriots fan when they drafted him, and he was so excited, and he was rooting for the Patriots against the Chiefs, which I love. But I think he's shown some good moments in preseason, so I think that is good. I know that Henry Anderson has kind of been a name that has mostly, from what I've seen in projections, a guy that's fallen off. Carl Davis as well. He's another one. So it doesn't shock me. And I like it. I'm fine with that list.
One thing, just going to spot rack with Henry Anderson, good bringing that up, Sara. He'd be $2.426 million, $1 million dead. So 1.4 million saved plus whatever they got to bring up to the 51. And if Pat's Cap is listening and I'm wrong, please tell me. But I think that's the way that situation would go. So it's a young defensive line right there.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things that's kind of nerve-wracking, I guess, just because obviously when they're young and like inexperienced and you don't know what to expect from them, it could go either way. But I think the Patriots defense has been, I remember reading that they had one of the like oldest defenses in the entire league. So now they're going in the complete opposite direction, and I think that's more exciting.
Ukulele, that's what I call him. He's suspended 6 weeks. So he's a guy I'd have on this roster. So let's see after week 6. But that's someone to keep an eye on. But he can play in the preseason, so he has been. So you probably see a lot of them tonight. They'll probably try to get as much run as they can out of him tonight.
Yeah.
Off the ball linebackers. Raekwon McMillan, Mac Wilson, Jawan Bentley are my locks.
Are you another one that's out on McGrone?
I'm not out. I think he needs to prove something tonight. I think he needs to contribute on special teams.
Yeah.
I like what I've seen out of those 3 guys together.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I have liked McMillan specifically. And I think that there was high hopes for McGrone, but we're just not seeing it. So it's kind of one of those things where when I was first reading these projections, it was kind of shocking. But as we've seen through the preseason, it's like it's becoming less and less of like, oh, wow, okay, he's getting cut. Like, I just don't know. I think the hype was real, and then it's just progressively gone down.
All right, so my edge players, three confirmed, and you know how I feel about the 4th guy that I'm going to bring up. Judon, Uche, Jennings. Jennings early down, Uche late downs.
I like it. I have a soft spot for Jennings too. I think I've talked about him a bunch. So, and is the last one Mitchell? Is that who you want to talk about?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I call
And
him the car crash.
So do you think so is he on your bubble or?
He's on the bubble. He was almost a lock for me. I think that's why Perkins went to IR with the Foxborough flu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. I was like, is that his way in?
Yeah, I think it is because he actually covers kicks. And if you watch him cover kicks, he is just he's a menace. I love it.
And we know how much Belichick loves him special teams. So
we get to the corners. I have 4 locks.
Okay.
Mills and 3 guys named Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, Jack, Jonathan.
I like it. So, but then so you would say Miles Bryant is out. Sean Wade is out. No, they're bubbles.
Yeah, they're competing. I think Miles Bryant is as close to a lock as you can be.
Mm-hmm.
There's still something off there. There's still, like, I could see him being moved for like a day 3 pick next year for a team that needs a slot corner. In my mind, I still have Isaiah McKenzie absolutely destroying that kid in the Buffalo game. And that's kind of something I can't get out of my mind.
Sorry, I have no idea what just happened. I was like, where did they go?
Disappeared.
Yes.
Maybe one of the planes took it. I don't know. Ear to the Ground Sports live at Airport Grille, New Bedford. Come on down, watch the game. 8:15 kickoff tonight. Great food specials. Cold beer, Vanessa on the bar. Tiki bar outside. Planes landing. Good atmosphere. And you got Galen. Anything coming up? Okay,
Not anything, earth-shattering or anything like that. Looks like the Patriots team Twitter handle. They did put out there. Looks like they're rocking the home fresh whites today. So I did happen to see that come down minutes ago. I gotta add, that is a really nice looking jersey. So
I know. I was just gonna say it looks really nice
with the preseason game number 3 tonight. So stay tuned. I'm just trying to keep an eye on any scratches, anybody coming up with any sort of small injuries that might be holding them out. So I'm just tracking Twitter as we speak right now.
All right. Sorry about that. Plane landing. Legitimately 30 feet from me. All right. So, nothing. Oh, go ahead.
Actually, a minute ago, Jabriel Peppers is on the field early and going through a workout. Obviously, this is pretty big as of right now because we haven't really seen or heard much from him this summer. And he was, I feel, like a key acquisition early in the offseason. So he's obviously recovering from a torn ACL dating back to last October. So we'll track that. But that just broke about a minute ago.
All right, so Jabriel Peppers, if he's working out with Moses Cabrera, that's usually the I will not be playing tonight. We will see who the Moses Cabrera team is tonight of guys that we won't see. Just getting back to the 53-man roster. Safety position, I'll just go with all 6. McCourty, the killer, Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips, Peppers, Joshua Bledsoe, and Schooler over Davis. I like it. If we see Schooler tonight lined up as the personal punt protector for Jake Bailey when they punt, basically that's Cody Davis's pink slip.
Yeah. I know there's been a lot of talk about him this past week. I've seen so many articles written about him. So I think people are excited about him. And, as I said earlier, we know Belichick loves him special teams. And if he can find a guy that's versatile and can do well on special teams, I mean, it's difficult to say why that guy wouldn't make the team.
And just looking at Cody Davis is 2.3 with only $500,000 in dead cap. So that's savings on the cap towards the season.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have two guys who do the same, you keep the younger, cheaper guy.
Yep. Agreed.
Would be my guess. We know who the specialists are.
Mm-hmm.
So the guys I'm really fighting for tonight, I want to see the battle between Ferentz and Russi.
Yep.
You got Russi, huh?
I not necessarily, because I think because of the uncertainties with the offensive line, I just wouldn't be surprised if they feel more comfortable going with the veteran guy that they've had. So I don't know that I just don't know how Belichick is thinking at this point. I think with the offensive line being the biggest question mark, it's like, okay, well, cutting the guy that you've had on the team for however long and bouncing back and forth between the practice squad, or, going with him seems like a more comfortable and logical solution to the issues you're having. So I know, a lot of people have been talking about Russi and thinking that he could be maybe taking over for Andrews at some point, whenever that is. But the state of the offensive line is a little worrisome. So I don't know.
Yes. And Hines is another guy. I think he's here, local kid, but he's on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Nixon's a practice squad guy.
Well, in his stock, I think has fallen quite a bit. Like, I think we talked about it before. He looked really good in OTAs, but as soon as they started playing preseason games and being at training camp, it was little Jordan Humphrey that kind of took over that hype from the younger wide receivers.
The other thing I didn't realize Trey Nixon was as bad as he is. He's a body catcher, and I'm not into that.
Yeah.
Pluck those hands out and catch the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a bit of him tonight too.
Yeah, no, definitely showcase. Yasir Durant is an interesting guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think he's a 4-position guy, and that's something you need on game day, someone along that line. They may hold on to Bill Murray, and Will Sherman was a draft pick last year.
Yeah.
Haven't really seen much. It's like, he's like on the roster. He exists.
Yeah, you kind of forget about him. And I say that in the most respectful way, but it's like sometimes when you read the names, you kind of forget that they are on the team or that they've done anything because no one says anything about them. And I feel like he's kind of one of those guys that I read the name and I'm like, wait, who is that? Oh,
Yeah. 6th-round draft pick. Oh yeah, I remember him. He was hidden underneath the stadium with the other Foxborough Flu guys.
Mm-hmm.
Am I crazy to think Lawrence Guy isn't a lock?
No, I don't think so. We've mentioned it before about, in general, it seems like Belichick is kind of trying to take on this new philosophy of getting younger and faster at all these positions. And I think they've even talked about it with the media. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are trying to replace a lot of these veteran older guys. And I say older as if, 29 or 30 is old, but they might be trying to go with the younger guys. Maybe that's what Belichick wants to do now. So it wouldn't be at all shocking to me.
LeBrian Ray is a guy of interest because of his versatility along the line. And he was a highly ranked prospect. And this takes me back to a pick they had a few years ago in Byron Cowart, who I believe is with the Colts now. Because coming out of high school, Byron Cowart was the number 1 overall prospect in college football, not defensive lineman, number 1 overall.
Oh, wow.
Went to Auburn and transferred out of Auburn. And as an Auburn fan, that didn't make me very happy, but he wasn't very productive. So there's kind of a history of the Patriots and Bill grabbing these guys who may have been injured in college, didn't get the time, but came in with pretty high rankings and a skill set. He gives these guys an opportunity. So when you look at LeBron Ray and Sam Roberts, I mean, what do you like about them?
Well, I've liked what we saw from Sam Roberts. Was it last week or the week before? He was just like everywhere and just playing like it was a real game. And so I feel like obviously he's trying to make an impact and get his name. I mean, people were talking about him. I don't remember if he was trending. I feel like he was. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But just seeing the like dedication and the desire, I like that. But LeBron Ray, I don't know. I've just seen a lot of people talking about him. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head like what I like about him necessarily. What have you liked about him?
I like the way he uses his hands. I like his versatility.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be. You're not looking at the guy who's going to be like a sack guy.
Yeah.
But you can put him in there sometimes if guys need a rest. He'll give you some middle pressure and get there. Just a real. I'm trying to think of a guy in history that he's
similar to.
Yes, and when that happens, I will share, but I just can't think of it right now. But we've had guys on the roster.
Is he your undrafted free agent that's going to make the team?
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, and that's funny, isn't it? Because there were some people that thought that none would. And they're continuing. I felt like they would continue the tradition of signing at least one, but it seems like there might be more than one.
So yeah, just get back. DeMarcus Mitchell, again.
That's right, yeah.
I think he's that guy. Now I've got the three Jones and Jalen Mills.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I think Terrence Mitchell is gone.
I feel, it's one of those spots on the team that I think had kind of an unexpected competition where a lot of people were concerned with JC Jackson leaving. And then, of course, Gilmore was traded last year. And I think people were worried that they weren't going to be able to find enough guys to take over. And they've actually found a handful of them. So they're going to have to cut them. So I think we'll see. I think I liked some of what he did last week. I think he did get that one penalty, which was iffy. But I think we're going to see more from him tonight to see how he handles it. But I want to see a little bit more of Marcus Jones. We've been seeing a lot more of Jack Jones. So that'll be interesting to see how they split those up tonight.
I think they're hiding Marcus Jones.
I know. It seems what it is. Like, we're not really seeing him, but we had heard really good things about him through practices. And then I'm like, well, why aren't we seeing him, though? Where is he?
I think he gets unleashed as a returner in game one. Everybody else who's been doing the returning is just there for that reason. This kid is a natural returner. I don't know if you remember Roscoe Parrish. Played for the Bills, wide receiver from the University of Miami. Kind of had a little bit of that flair to be able to be good in kick returns. I'm not going to put this guy in Devin Hester territory. But someone like that, like who's consistently going to get the ball out to like the 40-yard line and give you good drive starters. And on a punt, his first step is really good and his vision is incredible.
And I think that would be good because Belichick was even talking about how bad the returns were last week. So I know they had Miles Bryant in there. And who else was returning last week? It's Miles Bryant and I can't remember, but neither of them did very well. So as far as a special teams guy, it would be good if they are secretly hiding him because of that.
Yeah, just, not a lot of run on film. This is little different. He's in practice. These three guys, Bryant, Wade, and Bethel, are so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bethel's a gunner. Belichick loves him, but he's $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
You have little Jordan Humphrey, who was a gunner last week, made a great play. Ty Montgomery is a gunner, can play opposite Matt Slater.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to think Justin Bethel may be very expendable. and cut, and he's like told to go stay at the end zone motor inn near the stadium, and if we need you, we'll call you pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Type guy, like break glass in case of emergency type guy.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it wouldn't be surprising. I mean, he's still a top special teams guy. So I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult for them to find somebody if they did want to trade him.
yeah, no, the versatility. He's
Yeah.
played a little bit of corner, but he's not somebody I'm looking at. The Raiders have reached out to the Patriots about Isaiah Wynn. So is he another guy?
I feel like why wouldn't Josh McDaniels do that?
Under NFL rumors on Twitter. Yeah, no, McDaniels. I never really thought of them leaving him behind just because of the group of guys that they have already. I thought they had that position pretty secure, but they have the money. They cut Kenyon Drake the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that freed up. I know there was a lot of concern around the league about what that would do. But do you think Sean Wade, he's a guy who can play inside and outside, really fell apart at Ohio State his senior year? This was a kid who was projected to be a top 15 pick before the draft.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, he played so bad that they kicked him inside to slot, and then he ended up going 5th or 6th round to Baltimore. And if Baltimore drafts him, that tells me there's something there. But also, if Baltimore quit on him in like 3 weeks, that makes me nervous.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not been a consistent thing with him from what we've seen in New England so far either. So I like we were saying, like the cornerback position especially is just one that's actually a competition. So if he's a guy that they don't see consistency from, then I don't have a problem with them moving on. Especially they just drafted 2 other guys. So it's not like they're needing to grasp at straws at this point to just fill the roster in that area.
So, the outside, inside. And people make a big deal about that. Like, is he going to be the outside corner? Like, Jalen Mills is an outside. They're talking about Jonathan Jones. They kind of get matchup specific. And I think Jonathan Jones is the type of guy we've seen before. Game 1, they're telling him, you got Tyreek Hill with help over the top. But it's not Mahomes' arm throwing anymore. It's Tua's.
Yeah. That's a lot different. Unless you ask Tyreek Hill, then it's not a lot different.
Yeah.
So
Dude broke his arm once throwing the football. Okay? Don't tell me that, Tyreek.
Yeah.
As we move on, Air to the Ground Sports live. Galen, Buddy, Sara, live at the Airport Grille. Come on down, have some beverages, some food. Watch the game, 8:15 kickoff. Local time here, and it's not an NFL Network game tonight, so it won't be seen around the country. So it'll be WNAC local, their number 2 channel, and channel 4, depending on what you have, to be able to see that game. I'm going to turn it over to Galen. Anything he wants to add from what we said, or just anything that you're seeing out there with guys working out. And the Moses Cabrera watch, as I call it.
Yeah, there really hasn't been much update in terms of guys working out in the last few minutes. But one thing I did pick up prior to going live just about an hour ago is obviously, a few of the local reporters, they're putting obviously their say, on what has been, training camp throughout the summer. A lot of same constant mentions with, the offensive struggling, picking up, learning this whole new system, new scheme that they're trying to install, the coaching staff. We can go on and on and on. There's been so many of these topics, but one reporter in particular, Alexandra Francisco, I think she hit the nail right on the head when it basically looks to sum up in a nutshell exactly how this summer has played out for New England. And she writes, I'd say the biggest storyline from camp in the preseason, if it isn't who was calling the plays on offense, would be the growing pains they're experiencing getting used to the new system on that side of the ball. And I mean, she's just so right, because I mean, every day is just like another mention, another constant in terms of what's going on, who's coming, who's going, um, who's up, if anyone, this practice, who had a bad practice. There's been probably far too many of that sort of reporting, I feel, and then it's just like, you even get the sense from afar that, like, the personnel, the on-field talent is just not really on the same page like you would expect for it to be. It would need to be this late into the summer with the start of the NFL season right around the corner. I mean, I can't really remember ever a time in New England it's just been filled with like disarray. And hopefully, for New England fans alike, I could speak for, I'm sure, all of you out there. I mean, this team needs to get on the same page. You like to think it's going to start at the top with Bill Belichick and his coaching staff and the guys that he's choosing to surround himself with. And hopefully, only then will the team start to fall in line and show signs and continue to move forward. But until then, I mean, it just seems like nothing short of a crapshoot.
Sara?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think part of it, I have a few things. So one thing is that I've learned over the years is, especially post Tom Brady, is that the team is not really allowed to have those growing pains. Like throughout the summer, they have just been criticized for everything. And some of it is valid, and I don't mean that it's not, but it's like they have the same mentality that they had when they had Tom Brady, and what those expectations were with Tom Brady. And that's what they're still, that at least from what I see, it seems like they still have the same exact mindset. And it's like, this is not that team. This is not a Tom Brady led team. This is a bunch of younger guys that need time to figure things out. You can't be expecting Tom Brady in year 2 of Mac Jones. Like that's not going to happen. But the coaching situation, I think, is, yeah, it's worrisome, but it appears that a lot of the concerns about it are coming from outside of Foxborough. From what I've read, it was so many of them are saying like there's no concern inside with the coaches. Like they seem comfortable, they seem fine. So I would like to believe that because they feel so relaxed that maybe we should be a little bit relaxed. But yeah, I mean, unless we see something drastically different tonight or even in week 1, then like something needs to change. Oh, you're muted, by the way. There you go.
Win on the block. And now it's even more teams with the Raiders being added, and that does make some sense.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they can get the Cowboys into a bidding war, or maybe Bill went over to Josh and said, hey, say you're interested in this guy. I want to get Jerry for a second. Gotta think those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, like, when we first heard it, that McDaniels would. I mean, he's brought how many former Patriots players over to him? So I'm not at all surprised. And I mean, if that's what they want to do and they want to move on, then that's an easy thing. Obviously, there's communication there. So if they want to get the job done, then they could get it done, I'm sure, pretty fast. But like I said, there's such a lack of depth on the line. It just makes you wonder, what would they do in his absence? Who would be taking over for Wynn? And do they feel comfortable with whoever that option is?
Ear to the Ground Sports, we're live at the Airport Grille, New Bedford. Myself and Galen live. Sara in her hidden location in very, very frosty Arizona. She said it was in the 20s, she was saying earlier. So
yeah,
snow.
I remember her hitting us with a bombshell saying it was kind of hot.
Yeah.
I mean, newsflash.
It's the humidity. But then see, the thing is oh my God, it sounds so ridiculous because I just saw what the percentage humidity was. I don't even want to share it because you guys are going to be like, there's something wrong with you. But yeah, it's just if you're,
it probably reads like 20% is my guess.
It's 25. Yeah. But it's funny because like it's one of those things that until you live in this kind of area, it sounds so ridiculous. But it's like we never have humidity. So then when you do have humidity, you go outside and you're instantly sweating and it's just like, oh, it's so humid. And you check and it's like 12%. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I have changed so much since moving here. But yeah, it's back in the hundreds. We were down in the 90s for a while. So I just got excited, you know.
So your lasting thoughts of Josh McDaniel, since if he does come back, he failed in Las Vegas, but just kind of things you remember most about him over his time with the Patriots and thoughts on the whole Indianapolis situation and how he was able to overcome that and get a job.
Oh my goodness. I remember being one of the more supportive people, especially over the last few years where people wanted him gone immediately. And I was like, okay, this is unless you have a fantastic option, you do not want to just let him walk. And then look at where we're at now. I mean, I understand people, you know, they wanted McDaniels gone, and didn't want to necessarily bring back Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, but those are the growing pains that we were just talking about that were inevitable because of McDaniel's departure. But I remember the Indy situation, and I was really bummed at the time because I always thought McDaniels was going to be the guy to take over for Belichick. That was always my thought, especially after the Indy situation when he basically just was like, LOL, just kidding, and then came back to New England. Like, I thought that they had a conversation with him and it was like, okay, well, you want to be a head coach. Belichick is, you know, going to be around for however many more years. You'll be the guy to take over. So I wasn't sure that was going to be a long lasting thing. I know Indianapolis like absolutely despises him, but they went on what? They went to 3 or 4 more Super Bowls or something after he was going to go to Indy. So, I mean, obviously there was going to be plenty of teams that were not going to want to pass on him. So that wasn't surprising. I do think that he's definitely more set up for success with the Raiders than he was in Kansas City or Broncos. Sorry. I mean, he already has an established veteran quarterback. They just traded for the best receiver in the league. They have a run game. Like, I think that he's going to be a lot better this year. And then the conversation about the coaching tree of Belichick is going to change a little bit.
Yeah, so I just want to switch gears a little bit. We have a constant, mention that keeps on popping up one after another. This one here coming from Brian Martin. He's chiming in early and often tonight. He says, I don't think it's nothing wrong with the expectations. People forget that New England was typically in October through November. It clicks type of team when there's a major turnover. I think I get his gist there. And they follow that up saying, well, you don't expect Tom Brady magic. It's not unreasonable to expect play to win every game. Like Sara said, it's mostly external chatter. And right after that, a minute later, he added, honestly, my favorite thing about Josh McDaniels was when Brady threw out his game plan and called the plays in the Super Bowl versus the Rams. A little bit of a jab there, shot, but I kind of get his drift. And thanks, Brian, for checking in tonight and obviously following along live. We appreciate your contribution tonight. So keep it coming. We'll be here bringing it to you all football season long. But yeah, that's what Brian Martin has to say on tonight.
I could comment on every single one of his comments. So I don't know if you'd like me to, but I will.
Go ahead.
I do agree. I mean, it's been known for years, even with Tom Brady, that the Patriots didn't come out in September really hot and looking amazing. It was almost a rarity for them. It was always called like, oh, it was an extension of the preseason, the first month or so. So, having expectations isn't wrong. I'm just saying I think that people have set their expectations too high when you're in a rebuilding time period within the team. So, I agree. He said it's just external chatter. From what I've seen, there's nothing concerning from Belichick's side. Like, none of the coaches seem at all worried. They believe in what they're going to do. Maybe my conspiracy theory is correct that we talked about. I don't know if you saw on, was it Tuesday, on Hey Yo Foxborough, I said, what if this new offense is just like something that Belichick's put out there to make it look like the team is just disjointed and a mess, and in reality he's just going to throw it out there and then the season begins and it's the Patriots we all know and love. Now this is just a silly conspiracy theory. Okay, I was just trying to be silly, but I'm just saying that's what I said. And yeah, Super Bowl 53 was a good time. I don't think I knew that they kind of like just went and let Brady do it, but yeah, I feel like there's so many things with McDaniels that it's hard to pick like the top moments, you know?
Well, if Brady took over that game and the game plan, they only scored 13 points. So whatever Josh had in mind, they probably should have done that.
I know. I mean, and we just talked about it's such a defensive heavy game. So, I mean, like, is it surprising that they may have decided to not go with a game plan? I guess, but yeah, I don't know. I think people might buy that one. Yeah, people might make. I'm wondering if people are going to miss, like, if we're not seeing a lot of improvement with the offense, and it's either they're sticking to their plan to whatever they want to do with this new implementation of a playbook and whatever. I still don't see that happening if it's not working, but I'm wondering if people are going to end up saying that they kind of miss McDaniels around, especially if the Raiders do really well this year.
To bolt, and he can still do that. So third and 5 to Bolden, he can still do that because Brandon Bolden's there. So
yeah,
run that draw and punt. Get your punter set up in the middle of the field.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe that's exactly why he wanted Bolden. So just for that reason.
McDaniel's memories, and let's talk about our Sundays and Thursdays and everything we have going on for the season.
Okay.
I'll just take the floor here as the founder. We brought new people on board. We've got a great staff. We're going to have some good moments this football season. Monday, Thursday, and the big one is Sunday. We will be here at the Airport Grille, broadcasting before the game, spending the day with everybody on Sunday, watching the games here. I did a video tutorial of the place, great setups. Be on all the TVs in the morning, adds the pregame show, which is pretty damn cool.
That is cool. We're famous.
Galen will be here in this role, but there'll be at least an actives and more going on at that point in time. We have MJ with us, and we have Murph with us, and Sara and myself. So we got a team. We're gonna bring it to you from all different angles. We're gonna cover everything. We'll have you ready for every game. We'll have the Patriots. We'll have fantasy, and have you comfortable sitting in your seat, ready for kickoff. As we'll go off the air by 12:15, 12:30. So you can get your snacks and be in front of the TV. No reason to go up till 1 o'clock. I'm proud of the group that we have. We have a lot of great workers. Sara, I welcome you aboard again. Doing a wonderful job with everything that you're doing. Galen, I know I can always count on MJ, Murph. It's good to have everybody rowing in the same direction and not drilling holes in the boat. So that's always a good feeling to all be doing the same thing. And we're going to have a good time here this season.
I'm excited.
And Hey Yo Foxborough and the 305 podcast and the night shift with football. And we have a college football show with Obie Trotter and Emmett that'll be on every week. So we'll have college football preview, and we're also going to have a draft college show where we're getting you ready. Oh, wow. And just a little while ago, they let out the Senior Bowl top 400 prospects. So it's going to work good.
Yeah. I could learn a thing or two. So
see you here September 11th. And be ready to go. And we may have one more member of the team, somebody I'm talking to, who will help us some Sundays, just with some guidance and help. But no, I'm really excited about this. I like what we've done. And another thing is Tuesday for Cut Down Day. I haven't sent the official email out to everybody, but we'll cover from like 3 to 6. Cut downs around the league and just let everybody know what's going on with trades, because it's supposed to be in by 4, but you really don't hear till 5 or 6 o'clock. So that's when it's, when important. And you will see us on the road too. We can't get into that yet, but and also the Arizona Fan Club wants Sara there to broadcast some of the shows. So
I have to.
Patriots Fan Club of Arizona, Scott Holt, great guy and Patriots fan, and it's a good group out there.
Yeah, I haven't met anybody yet, so that would be pretty nice.
Yes, so yeah, that's the
yeah is the key word, Sarah. Yeah.
Yes.
So just some last minute thoughts just before we sign off. Anything you definitely want to see tonight? Just something that's going to bring your spirits up and have you ready for September 11th.
I want to see better protection from the offensive line. I want to see more production from the run game. Even if we're not seeing a lot of starters, I just want to see some sort of like beacon of hope that like we can run the ball and we can protect the quarterback. I think that's just my main focus. I know we talked a lot about the offensive line, but I feel like for me, that's what I'm mostly concerned about, because I think we talked about it even last week, was that seems to be like some of these outside forces seems to be the biggest issue for Mac Jones to be successful this year. So if we're not seeing any sort of consistency and working together, then I mean, what's Mac Jones going to do? So that's what I'm hoping for the most.
So what else do you like, Sara? Like, give us a little brief bio on Sara. We see you 3-4 times a week. Like,
what else do I like in my personal life?
Yeah, anything. Do you play checkers? I mean, what?
No. No, I like WWE wrestling, so that's something that I think we kind of talked about a little bit. And of course, if you understand the show of the title of my show, then I think you probably got it already. Big Scott Hall fan. I mostly for most days right now, if I'm not talking about or writing about the Patriots, then I'm playing with my 4-year-old nephew. So that's kind of like my whole life right now, is just being an aunt. Dreaming about being back in New England, hating the weather here, watching trash reality TV, that to make me feel better about my life, just that kind of stuff. That's my whole thing,
What's your favorite place to DoorDash from?
And I don't do it enough, and that's the thing. So it's good that I don't, but bad. I love Red Robin. I adore Red Robin. Is that bad? Is that a bad idea?
No, there's not one close enough. Put me on mute. Go ahead, Galen.
There's nothing wrong with Red Robin. We actually have the 2 that I'm thinking of. Both going in opposite directions, of course. There's one out in Wareham as you're making your way towards the Cape, and then obviously the other one being right there on location, on game day. For
and it's funny.
Patriots Place, they've been a long time, in years. So, but yeah, great burger joint. There's nothing wrong with Red Robin.
I love
you
their
name it, you think
fries.
it, they can make it up. They can make it up.
It's really good, and it's something because I lived in Massachusetts until 2003, but I didn't know about Red Robin until I moved to Seattle. So I was like, then that was one of the only restaurants that we had downtown. And so all of us would just like hang out at Red Robin. And then it was like, that was the hopping spot, you know, that's where we all just like hung out other than the grocery store. Cause for some reason, teenagers love hanging out at grocery stores. I don't know. Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
It used to be the mall, but now grocery stores? That's strange.
Well, in my
Oh,
town in Washington, the town that I lived in, there was no mall. You had to drive like 40 minutes to the mall. So we had Top Food and Drug, and that was just like a grocery store, but they had this like whole like eating section with like booths and stuff. And so we would all just like hang out over there at night. Teenagers doing teenager things, hanging out at grocery stores, you know.
So that's what us olds call Woolworths.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a store, Woolworths. You could walk around. They had like video games and a restaurant, and that's wow, hanging out at the supermarket. Never, ever thought about that.
You gotta. I mean, our downtown, it basically was like a Red Robin, the grocery store, a Barnes and Noble, and a Target. So it was like your parents dropped you off downtown and they were like, have fun walking wherever, and those were your choices. So you're like, okay, like where am I gonna go today? Okay, I'm gonna go sit in the food court of Top Foods.
So are you planting that seed when you do finally make your way back home again, somewhere sooner rather than later? We'll I guess a few of us will go for a nice mean burger at one of the Red Robin locations. I mean, you on board with that? That sounds good.
Yes. Lots of honey mustard also, because they have really good honey mustard, freckled lemonade. Yes. I want it all. Now I'm hungry. Why did you have to ask?
I know.
You know way too much about their specifics.
I know.
Way too much about their specifics.
Mistakes were made. Uh-oh.
So their draft beer is pretty damn good too. They have a good selection and it's a pretty good size at a good price. So
I'm not a beer drinker, so
what's your beverage of choice?
Well, I don't drink a lot, or like I'm not a big person that likes the taste of alcohol. Haven't we talked about this? And then I said it doesn't make any sense because I love me a shot of tequila, so it makes no sense. I'm like, I don't like the taste of alcohol, but like give me a shot of dark tequila and I'm there. You know, it doesn't make any sense. But they do have this one lemonade there, and I think it has vodka in it. And I don't really like vodka, but it's pretty good. It's like, I think it's strawberry lemonade, and then they just put some like a shot of vodka in it. That one's pretty good. Some strawberries in it. But I haven't tried a lot at Red Robin, actually. A lot of drinks there. I haven't had any.
So you said you have been to Vegas, because there's a lot of us. Vegas. Have you been? Just shake your head. You been to Vegas? Oh, God bless you. You guys have to put up with me. Oh
no.
What do they say about Vegas?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Unless you have a cell phone. No, I'm just kidding. Unless you got cameras. Just kidding.
Don't start telling me that stuff already. So, yeah. Let's see. What else can we ask, Sarah? What do you drive for a vehicle?
I have a Suzuki sedan, an SX4. It's
nice.
Yeah, it's just a small little car. It's only my second car of my whole life, so it's my little baby right now.
Nice. And when do you think you're going to come back to Massachusetts? Like, when do you you tell me where your family is? You've told me, but you can kind of let these guys know. Yeah,
so I moved around a lot when I lived there because my mom was a single mom, so she had to do what she had to do. So we moved around. So I feel like I never really had a hometown, but I always just say it's Plymouth because like that's where a lot of my family was. That's where my mom grew up. So I still have a little family in Plymouth, and then some outside of Boston, but a lot of them have migrated as well. There's quite a bit in Florida now, and where else? I think. Oh yeah, no, and then I have some like in Kingston and that kind of area. So yeah, they're kind of all over the place now. But I just haven't been back and haven't been. Oh well, I went in 2019, but I only was there for a couple days. Haven't visited family. This sounds so bad, but since 2010. So.
Oh boy.
All right.
We're not trying to get you in trouble with anybody. That would be.
It's okay. It's okay. But I did, I went in October of 2019 for a Patriots game, and that kind of just amplified me wanting to be back there because my favorite time is fall. So being there with, in October, I was like, okay, I need to be back here at some point.
Sorry, I thought I cut out for a second there.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Nope. So, I think it's something else interesting. Your playlist, 3 songs that definitely on your playlist that you're listening to get fired up to write an E2G article.
Oh, okay, so maybe not songs. How about I'll just do artists because that's easier. Well, the ones that I listen to the most is The Weeknd, Panic at the Disco, and who else? Oh my gosh, I'll have to look.
Vanilla Ice.
I listen to a lot of like emo music. I was like the emo girl in high school that just wanted to be emo,
At the grocery store.
Yeah, at the grocery store.
I'm still not over this. I kind of want to go to this town just to hang out at this grocery store, just to say that.
I know. I'm like, I wonder. I'm sure it's still there, but I would like to see the difference and it's funny because once we left, when we moved from Plymouth, is when they changed. Like they started adding a ton of businesses and stuff. Like there was this. I don't know how familiar you are with Plymouth, but there was this
44.
one. Huh?
Route 44 is one of them.
Yes. Yeah, so there was this one area that we would go through that was an industrial park, and it was like where we would go to the Independence Mall in Kingston. And that used to just be obviously just like a bunch of business buildings. And then we went back and they had added like this whole, like all these strip malls and restaurants and stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness. And the same thing happened with my where we lived in Washington as well. It's changed so much. There's like apartment buildings and restaurants and new stores. And I'm like, why couldn't this have been here when I lived here? Why did I have to hang out at the grocery store? Like, why couldn't I have hung out over wherever, I don't know what's there anymore, but same thing with my high school.
What happened? You don't see what happened? They were just waiting for you to up and leave.
I know. They were like,
that's when they started with the fun.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're welcome, everybody, back in Washington for all of that added fun that you have.
So you leave somewhere and they do construction. So
apparently,
what are they gonna add to Phoenix when you're out of there? I mean, there's only so much more they can put in there.
What if they develop a new home for Coyotes hockey? Right?
Oh yeah. Actual not 5,000 seat stadium at ASU.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like going to a high school game.
I know. That's
what they've become. So tell us your affinity for John Cena.
Oh geez. I have a whole shelf dedicated to him behind me.
Wow. Okay.
It's not just him. Yeah, no, I just was when he debuted, that was in 2002. So I was 13 and got a big old crush on John Cena, and it's now been 20 years. So yeah, I don't know why I really liked him. I probably just thought he was super cute at the time, and then just kept watching wrestling, and so he was my favorite. I've got to meet him 3 times and embarrass myself. But yeah, no, he's just he's ended up being like a good guy too, which is nice because, sometimes you'll have like, oh, I have favorite actor or singer or something, end up being like something terrible. They end up being trash. So it's kind of nice that John Cena has maintained a pretty good reputation. But yeah, he's my guy.
They always say you never want to meet your hero.
Yeah, and I get that, but in my experience, it's not been bad, thankfully. I mean, obviously, like meeting Cena, it's literally like, oh, you get, a minute or 2 with him. It's not like a prolonged thing because that's just how those meet and greets go. But he's always been very nice to me at wrestling shows because he's thrown me a shirt of his. He's thrown me a wristband. He gave me an extra autograph once when I met him because he was so flattered about something I had for however long. Like, he's just always been very pleasant and very nice. So, thankfully, because otherwise that would have broken my heart if I was like, I love you so much, and then I met him and he was a jerk. That would suck. But he's been great. So
We have 2 comments. Thoughts on Malcolm Butler,
mhm.
and the other one says Butler was no surprise. So the official thing is he's paid through week 6, and then he's available.
So when I first heard the news, I was really bummed. I mean, I think I was one of the only people who was kind of like excited about his return, because most people just, they didn't want like another older guy coming back, especially for that position. But I was bummed when he was cut, because I just was hoping for that to be like a better ending to that story. Like the fact that he was able to come back and they like mended fences there is still nice, and I guess like that's what I can live with. But it's just unfortunate that it ended up not working out, because his last season was really good in Tennessee. So I was hopeful that they would be able to get that figured out and he'd be able to do that again. But so wherever he goes, if he ends up playing somewhere else, I'll root for him.
All right, we're going to go around the divisions. Your pick preseason to win each division.
Okay.
AFC East. We'll go last. All right,
Bills.
me too. Galen, AFC East.
I'm kicking this off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't see how you could pick against the Bills. I'm going with the Bills.
Yep. Agreed.
AFC North. Fun little division we have there.
That one's tough. I assume you're picking between the Bengals and the Ravens, right?
Oh, I'm Joe Burrow fan club, man.
Oh, okay. So you're going Bengals.
Yep.
I think. I guess my first gut, I'll go with the Bengals. But I love Lamar Jackson, so that's why I'm like struggling. I'm like,
3 for 3. Definitely the Bengals.
All right, we're moving to the AFC South. Probably a 2-team race. But who have you got there?
Who do I like there? I think I kind of like the Colts. Is that bad? I kind of like the Colts, though. Matt Ryan, I feel like, is going to, invigorate them. And I mean, I know it's the Titans, but like Ryan Tannehill can Ryan Tannehill, if you know, you know.
Yeah, I'm going with the Colts, too, as much as I'm a Tennessee honk. And a honk for Mike Vrabel and just everything they've done there for years.
Yeah.
I am going with the Colts. I hate to do it. God.
Brian says Colts is bad.
Going with those Jaguars. They are just going to surprise a lot of people. Not.
I was going to be like, I'm trying to be supportive of your pick, but.
Gotcha. Yep, the Colts it is. 3 for 3.
All right, we go out to the AFC West, and this is a fun group.
Yeah. I'm not as hyped about the Broncos as I think a lot of people are. So, this one's hard. I don't. Okay, wait. I want to go last. I want to hear your guys' thoughts first.
All right, you go first, then, Gabe.
Okay. I get a very, very sneaky feeling regarding the Chargers. Give me the Chargers. I think this might be their year.
I want the Chargers. I think the demise of the Chiefs has been greatly exaggerated, despite the fact that they've lost Tyreek Hill and the Honey Badger. I think they did a great job in the draft, and I think they're overall a deeper team. I'm going to go with the Chiefs just over the Chargers, like a tiebreaker type situation.
Do you know
Both in
how
the playoffs.
upset I am hearing this? Because I would literally pick anyone but the Chiefs. It's like if that could happen for the rest of my life, I would be happy. You know, yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I like the Raiders too, but there's still too many question marks there because we don't know like the longevity of like what we know that they can be good, but with Josh McDaniels, it's there's too many question marks. So I think I'll go with the Chargers.
We'll go to the NFC. We'll go to the pillow fight division, the NFC East.
Oh geez. I'll say the Cowboys, but it's gonna be another one of those things where they can get in there and they're like 9-8. Like I don't know that there's not gonna be like a clear front runner in it necessarily.
I'm going Philadelphia.
Yep. Likewise, I'm going with Philly as well. I like what they've done this offseason. I think Jalen Hurts takes another step forward. Yeah, I'm going to go with Philly. Yep.
Yeah, the A.J. Brown addition is going to be huge for them.
I'm looking at James Bradbury being on the other side of Darius Slay and thinking what their corner play is going to be. And that front, or adding Jordan Davis, they're able to rotate.
That's what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that pains me because I really like Jordan Davis. You know what? Okay, I'm switching. I'm going to the Eagles.
All right.
You said Jordan Davis, and I'm like, what am I thinking picking against that man? What am I doing?
Yes. Thank you. Welcome aboard. We're not fans, but we're picking you.
Yes.
Boat over here. The NFC North. I'll go last because I think I'm going to get punched in the face and tomatoes thrown at me.
I have to pick the Packers. As much as I hate every second of it.
Yeah, usually it's the Packers division, I feel. But that was just a huge loss.
Yeah.
You know, with them obviously trading away Devontae Adams. And, yeah, you got some rookies at wide receiver that are making some noise here in camp. But a loss that big, I find that a little bit too tall of a task to come back from. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Give me the Vikings.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this. I'm really going to utter these words. The Lions of Detroit.
What? Actually, you know what? It's funny. Like, I don't think you're going to have many tomatoes thrown at you because people are obsessed with the Lions and Dan Campbell. So
I will tell you this as I put myself out there with this pick. 2 years ago, nobody else picked the Commanders to win the NFC East when they hosted Tom Brady in the playoffs, and unfortunately there was injuries. And, Taylor Heineke was the quarterback.
Yeah.
They were my from March on, and people laughed at me. I'm going to do the same thing with the Detroit Lions because if you really look at that roster, that offensive line is maybe the best in the league. And there are some weapons out there, and Jameson Williams coming back. The only thing that hurts is Jared Goff.
I don't hate it, but and you know what's funny is I'm all for it. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the playoffs, I would celebrate. Even if the Patriots didn't make it, if Aaron Rodgers didn't make the playoffs, I'm just as happy because that's how much I just can't stand that man. So I would be totally okay with the Lions winning if that were the case.
I could probably see and understand much more so where Buddy's coming from. However, I just don't trust Goff worth a lick.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he would find a way just to derail that sort of obvious train that's emerging, in that division. They are definitely stepping up and making some noise. I mean, I won't be surprised with that happening, but it's Jared Goff we're talking about here.
Yeah.
He makes Kirk Cousins look like he's part of the elite at quarterback, and he's not even elite. It's Jared Goff. So that's why I feel like Detroit, they might make some noise, but they're not really going to be a contender, at least not this year. I don't see.
Yeah. I know. I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do if Goff once again doesn't have like a wonderful season. I know that they're kind of stuck, but I don't know how stuck they are still with him because of that contract. I would have to look at it because I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would be excited about it. I mean, they're on Hard Knocks and people are obsessed. So
yeah, no, it has nothing to do with Hard Knocks because I don't watch Hard Knocks. It's a roster construction thing and a mindset thing, and I'm big into the lines. And Aiden Hutchinson looks like the real deal, just off the edge. So that's where I'm going there. We'll go to the NFC South, Tampa Bay. Anybody else?
No.
Yeah, definitely Tampa Bay.
Actually, I'm going to go with the Panthers that are led by Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. I just think they changed the game. No, I'm just kidding.
I think they should rotate them.
Do you think they will?
That would be great. Because you ended up with the first and third pick.
You just named two people, Sarah, and neither started with the name Christian and ended with the name McCaffrey.
That is true. That is
Baker
true.
Mayfield.
Yeah.
And the other Jamoke. I mean, come on. As Christian McCaffrey goes and stays upright, so do the Panthers. Let's be honest. It's McCaffrey.
That is true.
And the toughest division in football outside of the Seattle Seahawks. Sorry, Petey. The NFC West.
I like the Rams.
It's hard not to like them, especially with them obviously coming off of a Super Bowl win. I mean, they had a great season. They're bringing back almost the same team, but I don't know. I get a pretty good feeling almost by the day. Give me the young, hot shot sophomore Trey Lance and the San Francisco 49ers.
Well,
I think they have something.
Even with Aaron Donald swinging helmets.
They're pretty sound on both sides of the football. Be aware of the Niners.
Have you watched Trey Lance play?
Listen, it's still very early in the process. See me, talk to me in about another month and a half. Give this kid about 4 or 5 weeks. I'm telling you. And they don't even need him to play hero. If he could just stay with his realm, be more of like a game manager and utilize clearly his best asset currently being his legs. That's all. That's all that they'll need with him. Obviously engineering this offense and the team as a whole. Whatever, they don't need him to be great. They don't need him to be Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes-esque. Lance, just do your part, fall in line, play a complementary role, and then the rest of this team, the running game, the defense, it will take care of itself.
I'm going to go with the Rams. I don't believe I'm sitting near this guy. Trey Lance is killing worms in practice is what he's doing.
What happens? Do you think the Seahawks would be better if they trade for Garoppolo?
I think they'll wait for him to get cut. I don't think they won't be a trade between those teams.
Can they cut him and not lose massive money?
Let me look that up while you guys talk. I will look
because I know that some people have said that there's been talks of Jimmy being traded to the Browns, and I hate that for him. Because for sure that you would only be there for their starter for the 11 weeks or whatever Watson's out for. And then, I mean, the only good thing is it's only a 1-year rental basically, but I feel like he could be better in Seattle, but I don't know. I mean, next year he'll have his pick anyway, because he'll be a free agent, but I think that the Seahawks would be better equipped to have him, but they're kind of a mess overall, but their quarterback situation is a heck of a lot worse than Cleveland. As far as talent goes, I mean. But yeah, I think I couldn't remember about his contract details exactly. Now my Google's not working. Okay, let's see. Jimmy G. What's a contract? I think Buddy froze. Yeah, Buddy froze.
I think he did end up freezing on us.
I know, with that silly face. He's got a silly face in that.
He hasn't moved at all in the last minute.
I'm glad that you can see him in the flesh and know that he's not, in fact, stuck.
He is all right. He's not stuck. Trust me. He's right that away.
Sport or Spot Track is saying $2 million in dead cap. For Jimmy. Let's see.
Yeah, but I think it's safe to say, Sarah. I mean, let's face it. I mean, he's gonna get scooped up, and if and when he does, it's gonna be, just by way of being signed, off the scrap heap. I mean, no one's gonna give 49ers anything. Like, nothing. Not even what, 7th round pick. I mean, they just know, like, his days down in the Bay, they're numbered, so they're just waiting for the inevitable to happen. I believe he's going to get cut pretty soon.
And it's sad in a way, because I feel like his tenure with the Niners hasn't been terrible as much as people want to believe it has. Like, it's not been great, and I'm not saying it has, but I mean, they went to the Super Bowl, they went to the NFC Championship, so it's not been all bad. It's just unfortunate the way that things panned out, because, in the NFC Championship, it was kind of on his shoulders for the reason why they lost. So, and then
the
he's
Niners, been good.
And the Niners overall just like fell apart in the second half of the Super Bowl. So it's like you kind of can't pin all of that on him, but I think he's still capable.
I feel like too often in the NFL we hear and see the serviceable word get thrown around pretty consistently, but I feel like it's safe to say Jimmy, he's even better than that. There's a lot of quarterbacks that come in, with this serviceable sort of label, but with Jimmy, he's been good. He's been steady when he's on the field, that is, because obviously even dating back to his time here in New England, he also has a hard time just being dependable, being reliable, and they're week in and week out. So I feel like, some of his consistency almost always are tied to just pure health. But when he's in there, I mean, he's not elite, but he's far from the bottom of the barrel, and he can obviously get you there. It's just a matter of, okay, when you get there, can you close out the job? And that's what he wasn't able to do.
Yeah, and he would have been a way better option for the Panthers. I mean, like, I don't know why they didn't. I mean, maybe they kicked the tires on it. I don't know. But, I mean, you're dealing with two quarterbacks that are not together, aren't even like a Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's going to be interesting to see, because I feel like it would be kind of lame if he starts the season not on a new team yet. But, I mean, we're getting so close that it's kind of like, I don't know that it's going to happen and who's going to express interest. But I liked the idea that was being thrown around about him going to Seattle. So I guess we'll see. Welcome back.
The best quarterback in San Francisco is going to end up in Seattle. That makes no sense. Give him to your rival.
Yeah, but there's probably because they're just not fearful. They believe a lot in Trey Lance, apparently. I mean, they skipped over Mac Jones for Trey Lance, so.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get that contract number. No, they traded up to the number 3. They really mortgaged things to get Trey Lance, and they thought he was the best fit for their system. Garoppolo, he's only $2 million dead money.
Yeah, that's what I saw that. Yeah,
$27 million cap hit. Congratulations, guys. $27 million cap hit. So only $2 million of it would be dead. So he's getting cut.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, in a way, it's not horrible because then he can decide where he wants to go instead of being forced to go somewhere. I have a soft spot for Jimmy, so that's why I care. Okay. Back when, remember when the quarterbacks, it was like Team Handsome? It was like that was the Patriots. It was Team Handsome. Jimmy was part of Team Handsome.
Team Handsome.
Yeah, it was Tom Brady and Jimmy, Amendola, Edelman. There was just models on the team, supermodels.
Yeah,
you know?
they were definitely a group I was looking at. Definitely a group I was.
I can't say I wasn't.
We'll wrap things up. Sara, you're on tomorrow. Hey, yo, Foxborough.
Yes, with Murph.
What time? You and Murph. What time?
Yeah, killing it at 5 p.m. Eastern.
All right, so 5 p.m. Eastern. Down the left field line baseball show will be after that. And we'll be joining you Monday, our regular shows. But Tuesday, the special 3 o'clock cut down day. We'll cover it from every angle. Send out assignments because a lot of people want to be involved. So we'll have a whole bunch of little boxes down here and bring people in. And it'll be like NFL Network, but without the budget. So
and better.
Yeah, better people, better humans. All right. So from the Airport Grille, you can come down, catch the game. Hour 15 minutes till kickoff. You may have to wait a little bit, but you can come in and watch the game. Cold beer, food. We'll see you on the other side, and we'll be back here September 11th. Will be our grand Sunday opening, and viewers will be here September 8th for the Bills-Rams game. I actually have somebody live from SoFi Stadium going to be broadcasting with us.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm trying to find one of my Bills people so we can have a lot of fun with opening night and getting everything done. But we'll see you, and be sure to like, subscribe, share, tweet, hug, smoke signal, whatever you got to do to get us out there. For Sara, for Galen, buddy, have yourself a great night. Enjoy the game tonight, and have a safe weekend. Good night, everybody.